So when it comes to the most recent Dua fragrances releases, there were actually two that piqued my interest. One of them is an original creation. This one is called Pineapple and Cream Filling. And when you think of pineapple, I think people think about Creed Aventus, of course. So I wanted to see if this was going to be kind of like a gourmand Aventus. And of course, his ideal, which is their interpretation of L'Homme Ideal by Guerlain, a 2014 release, one of my favorite fragrances ever. So in today's Dua double feature, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on these two fragrances, so make sure to stay tuned. Now before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on these two brand new releases from the Dua brand, and I'll tell you what I think about the notes, the performance, longevity, so on and so forth. I want to start things off by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload these future videos to the channel, and I upload on a daily basis. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you took something of value from today's episode. So here we have an original creation. This one has juicy canned pineapples. There's vanilla cream. So that's basically what you can expect from this one. Pineapple and vanilla. L'Homme Ideal is the inspiration for this one. It's just called His Ideal. I love L'Homme Ideal by Guerlain. 2014 release composed by Thierry Vasser, and that is a fragrance that contains almond and leather, vetiver, tonka beans, a bunch of citrus in the opening. And I actually purchased a bottle of that when I was on my honeymoon, so it brings back very, very fond memories. I'll tell you if this fragrance activated those same memories for me. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at the presentation first. So let's go ahead and start off with the original creation, which is called Pineapple and Cream Filling. Obviously, I got very gourmand vibes from this one, especially looking at the note breakdown. And it basically just had juicy pineapple, vanilla cream. And so I'm expecting it to just be sort of a balance of pineapple and vanilla. Now, when I first sprayed this on, I got the most juicy, the most saccharine pineapple I've ever smelled. It actually smelled like a pineapple candy. It was so juicy, it was almost like unrealistic. I'm like, oh my God, there's like an overdose of sugar in this. Almost as though somebody made like a pineapple smoothie and decided to dump in like a huge bag of sugar. That's the impression that I got initially. I said, whoa, this is like really, really sweet. I gave it a chance to settle down, 15-20 minutes. And then the sweetness started to subside and I got like this smooth, creamy vanilla ingredient in the base. Now, the vanilla ingredient in here is very different. A lot of times when people think of Holy Grail vanilla fragrances, they think of Spiritu Double Vanille by Guerlain. They might think of Ani by Nichane. And there's so many other Tihota by Indult. There's so many vanilla-based fragrances. This one is very different, right? It doesn't smell like any other vanilla-based fragrance that I've tried. And I just think it's because there's a lot of different layers in here. Now, as far as the note breakdown is concerned, it just has many variations of vanilla, many variations of pineapple, but that combination together, wow. It is different, it's sugary, it's sweet, it's creamy, a little musky as well in a clean way. Very, very, very gourmand leaning, and at the same time, very different from Creed Aventus. So if you're expecting something in the wheelhouse of a Creed Aventus, you might be disappointed. This is very different. If you like the smell of pineapple and you like gourmand fragrances, this is utterly going to be a hit for you. The second fragrance I want to talk about is His Ideal. I love L'Homme Ideal. I went on a honeymoon when I got married back in 2015. My wife and I went on a cruise. One of the ports of call, I think, was the Bahamas. And we docked in the Bahamas. I ended up going to a perfume store and I bought myself a bottle of L'Homme Ideal. I didn't know anything about it. I just, happened to be on my honeymoon. I knew it was about a year old at the time. And I said, let me pick this up. I have since fallen in love with it. Whenever I smell it, it reminds me of that special time in my life and vacationing and being out in the water. And just smelling it reminds me of like the restaurants that I visited when I was on the cruise ship, the meals that I ordered at said restaurants, the casino that I might have walked around on the cruise ship. It really does remind me of all of these things. And it actually bestows upon me a great sense of like happiness and solace. And yeah, in order for these memories to be activated, it just means that Dua got it really, really close. What can you expect from this one? Tonka bean, almond, leather, citrus, a little bit of vetiver, but that creamy, smooth, almost chocolatey, cocoa-like combination of the almond and the tonka bean is to die for. And I know this brand has gotten so much praise. There's a cologne version that I think is discontinued now, and there was an extreme version and a l'intense version, and like a bunch of other flankers. The original has been a favorite of mine for such a long time, and it has a very special place in my heart. And just knowing that, no matter what happens, God forbid if it ever becomes discontinued, Dua has their version of it, and this stuff lasts. Very happy to have both of these in my collection. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, well, this one is unique, this one isn't. This one is a clone, this is an original creation. Tried comparing it to other fragrances, Spiritu Double Vanille by Guerlain, Creed Aventus, nothing compares to it. Very unique. Longevity, when it comes to these two fragrances, this one is going to get you about 8 to 9 hours. This one got me 10 or 11 hours. There's something about the notes that are in his ideal that gave me really, really good performance. Both of them are extrait de parfum, so you can expect both of them to last a very, very long time. Very high concentration of aromatic compounds, 33% as a matter of fact. In terms of the projection, they both projected really, really well. I want to say pineapple and cream filling was a little bit louder for like an hour and a half. This one maybe for an hour, within an arm's length, beyond an arm's length for the gourmand. They both lasted in the vein of like 8 to 11 hours, depending on which one you're wearing. But the projection was actually really good for both of them. Nice scent bubble. In terms of the versatility, I think this one is a bit more versatile, pineapple and cream filling. His ideal is more of a cold weather fragrance, but I love this stuff so much that I'll wear it indoors in a climate controlled environment. His ideal is a bit more masculine. This is a bit more unisex. I think pineapple and cream filling is a bit more youthful, thus catering to somebody perhaps who's a little bit younger. His ideal, a bit older, a bit more sophisticated, but enough of that sweetness to also appeal to somebody who's a little bit younger. And I think that pineapple and cream filling is more of a casual date night, maybe even clubbing kind of a scent. His ideal could be used a bit more formally. So very different in terms of the versatility. In terms of the presentation, I like the caps with the engraving, and I just think the presentation looks very nice, very minimalist. My final verdict on both of these fragrances is we have an amazing original creation and we have a stunning recreation. I think they're both executed very, very well done. Great performance on both of them. If you're a pineapple and vanilla fan, you have to go with pineapple and cream filling. If you're a fan of Le Medial by Guerlain, you want a very, very long-lasting version of it, which is like 95% similar, go for his ideal. Thank you so much for watching. That was my double feature video. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything, if you took anything of value from this episode, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell, give this video a thumbs up. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.